and welcome back to Reality Hot Takes. It is me, Coach Drew. No, aka this weekend, because we are talking about something a little bit more serious. I'm joined today by Davie from season 37, David versus Goliath. Davie, thank you for joining me. As with every guest on the show, Davie, what is your Survivor hot take?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Drew. This has been a long time coming. We were trying to get this thing together here, and with season 41 being on air, what better time than to talk to you now? Um, I guess my Survivor hot take is you should bring returning players back every other season.
Damn, all right.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying that because I want to get back on the show, but I really think that having that type of resonance, having that type of kindredship of the fan base plus the survivor community will help to grow the fan base. I think the challenge is a great example where they bring players back every season, and it's like a continuation story. It's like it already is a competition series, but so it's like you're following a new storyline each season, and I think that that could fit well for Survivor. Now, the alternative is you do like the challenge has done, and you put a series like that on Paramount Plus, so they could go that route and keep giving us new players, and then you just restrict the cable Survivor Series to nothing but new players, and just put the returning players on Paramount Plus. So hey, I think it's a good idea, man. I don't know who needs to hear it, what petition we need to start to make it happen, but I think it would be great for CBS as a whole.
Well, based off of your last petition, which I guess we'll get right into, I think you have a good success rate when it comes to that. So I do want to ask you because you finally, I don't know even how to know how to phrase it. You finally came out about the fact that you were one of the people in charge of the Survivor Diversity Campaign Twitter page.
Yeah.
So first, I want to ask you, what was your inspiration? Who were the people that you were talking to leading up to that? And what made you finally like pull the trigger and go with it?
Absolutely, man. Well, a lot of well, let's start from the beginning. So, for the listeners who may not know, if you've been sleeping under a rock for the last year, there was a campaign in the wake of George Floyd to try and get more people of color, specifically more Black people, in reality TV and specifically on Survivor. We have a past of some Black players who have not had such a great experience in their Survivor tenure. And if we could do some good, we started a petition where we got so many signatures. I can't quote the number right now, but I'm sure it's over 5,000 signatures, even over 9,000 signatures of people who agree with us, agree that um, if you're going to be playing these reality shows and it's going to be a what do you call it, a something of society, a microcosm of society, then it needs to reflect when it needs to be equitable, not equal, but equitable for other players. So we did this petition, and we also created a Twitter page. And I reached out. Well, actually, Jatia, who was kind of the head of the petition, she reached out to me with my social media experience. And because I have such close relationships with a number of the fans, I knew what their strengths were, and I was able to reach out to 4 or 5, 6 of you guys and get you to help me with anything when it came to getting the word out on diversity, speaking about past experiences of players, for Survivor players. Drew, your actual role in the campaign is to outreach, trying to outreach to other Black players or other people of color, and getting them to follow the Twitter page so that we'll hopefully increase not only membership in the Twitter realm, but increase applications for people of color, because we have succeeded in our goal in now being allowed to get 50% people of color on each season. So we don't want to give CBS any excuse for when it's time for things to go back to normal. We don't want them to go back to normal. We want this to be the status quo for the rest, if not forever, within reality TV. And it was just an added bonus that it wasn't just going to be Survivor. It's going to be Big Brother. It's going to be Amazing Race. It's going to be Love Island. Even MTV The Challenge has something, an ask now. So we've done some good, and we just need to maintain and fight through and continue on.
And so, going based off of that, I will say that when I talked to Keith, I told one of my biggest fears was that because they did so well casting 50% with Big Brother and Survivor, especially, that they were just going to do that for the next 2, 3, 4 seasons, and then okay, here you go, you guys are welcome. Now we're going to go back to how it was, and to be fair, leading up to these 2 seasons. I would say that the diversity of the show, you could see a big jump in it and around the late 30s.
Yeah.
But I do think that the initiative definitely just opened more eyes to the problem. And I think this was a proper solution. So I do appreciate you for that. And so going into this season of Survivor, once the cast is starting to get announced, how are you thinking? How are you hoping that the season will go? Not necessarily as far as winners or anything like that, just more portrayal. And did you think that they? Let's see. Do you think that they did a good job when it came to diversity? Not just looking at the numbers, just like how people are being represented on the show.
Yeah. You know what? I think that they have definitely improved in how they are portraying people. They've definitely improved on the equitable amount of screen time that certain people are getting, but there still is wiggle room for a lot of improvement. We've got players like, and not just speaking diversely, but speaking, as each player as a whole. You've got someone like Heather, who hasn't even gotten any content basically until as of late, where we're seeing now, we're like, oh man, this woman's entertaining. Why couldn't we have gotten something from her before? And I can't even think of anyone who has been as purple as her since Julia. And even Erica, she's played a role now, but I really feel like there were times in the pre-merge where we could have, and granted, their tribe never went to tribal, and that has a lot to do with it. But if you can give us screen time of Sydney, Deshaun, Danny, and Nasir, then you should be able to give us a little bit of screen time as those 2 women as well. So I think that Survivor is getting better in that sense, but there's always more room for improvement. And I was thinking about this week because, Liana's been getting a lot of backlash for her little feud with Xander, which I think is all in great fun.
I think it's funny. Yeah, I think it's funny.
All in great fun. I don't think Xander has a problem with it. I don't think Liana should be getting backlash like this. But, I took to my Twitter and I said, see, this is the reason why I would never do an AMA, because it seems like the Reddit Survivor community, when it comes to certain Black women, they make them a punching bag. And to quote me exactly, I believe I said Julia, Missy, Shan, Liana. It seems like they like making them a punching bag, and it's almost like Black women aren't allowed to. I don't even want to say make a mistake, but Black women aren't allowed to shift from the grid without people punching them. And I said, just to relate it to my Survivor experience, I know when I was out there, I said a lot of stuff that was outlandish, a lot of stuff that could have gotten me quote unquote canceled, and CBS didn't use it at all. So I kind of wonder, is it, and let me put this the right way without
we want to get you back on the show. We want to get you back on Survivor. So
but you see where you catch my drift. You see where I'm going with this. Like, do they only protect certain people?
Their favorites.
Their favorite. Exactly. Do they not look out for people who they don't think have a chance at winning. Is that all a part of show business? So you know what? I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer for this. But I just know that the editing still has room to grow. We'll say that.
And so going based off of that, so I, every week I get on here and say Survivor Reddit is just a cesspool of like the worst Survivor fan. I feel like Survivor fans are slowly turning into those Star Wars fans that started to come out when the sequel trilogy came out.
Yeah.
Like certain aspects of comic fans, and it bothers me because Survivor fandom has always been more or less a safe haven for me.
Absolutely.
And then I hopped on there and I realized, oh man, Giuseppe is hated on here.
Oh
and
my God.
Earl Cole's a manipulator and all this other stuff. I'm like, but y'all love like Russell. Like I don't understand. Or Russell Swan's the worst player that's ever played because he never made the merge and 2 times. Like
the hypocrisy.
That means but you can't. But going off of the women aspect of it, and I've talked to you about this. In 2002, or maybe it was earlier than that, when Giuseppe won, that was one of the biggest moments of my childhood life. I know where I was, it was my mom's hair salon, all that. And so for years, I didn't know that she had that much backlash from a lot of fans. And so I started hopping on. Hop on the internet. It's like, Giuseppe's the worst winner ever because of this, that, and the other. And I was like, but there have been other winners that have kind of done the same type thing.
Yeah.
And y'all are praising them. So what's different? And it's bothersome. So that's why I do enjoy this season overall. I don't like the advantages, but that's just my opinion.
Me either,
but I do enjoy the characters, and I do think that we've been given some time with some of the favorites. And one thing that I'll say about the Heather thing, and this just goes back to the Reddit stuff. I don't know who said it, but they basically said, "Oh yeah, the reason they're not giving Heather enough time is because they're putting too much stock into this whole Black Alliance thing. That they're taking it away from. They're taking away TV time from other people. It's like that's not it.
Okay,
that's not it at all.
Wow,
that was only like a 5-part segment of one episode where they really talked about it. And so there's always going to be these jabronis out there that say these kinds of things. And it's just, after a while, it does start to, like, and I have a very short fuse, or not short fuse, I have a pretty long fuse, actually. But I get agitated really easily when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I go on these rants. And I've done well in my later years at not freaking out. But this season is, I feel like at some point I'm going to have to like block the school that I work at from seeing certain stuff that I post because like the Shan hate on the, you bring up one player, bringing up another, the Shan hate that she's been getting. It's like, she's a villain, I guess, in this season's realm of Survivor, but like, she's not even that bad. She hasn't done anything malicious. Yes, she's a pastor and all that, but it's similar to the Seppi at her final tribal where everyone is, oh yeah, you claim to be a Christian, and she was like, that's between me and God. That has nothing to do with y'all. And I don't know Shan at all like that, but I will say that I feel like she has that same type of mentality of, I'm here playing a game, and if I trick somebody in chess, people aren't going to call me out because I'm a pastor.
Right.
So what's different here? I'm lying to your face about something, but my goal is to win.
Yeah.
And so you see this, and then you go look on these people's Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, whatever, and it's like, oh, Russell Hanson's the greatest player that's ever existed. And I'm like, okay, so I see what's happening here. Just admit it. Yeah. And shut up. So how do you feel about that? Because you had a shocked face when I brought up the Heather thing. How do you feel about that? These people?
Yeah, it's clear hypocrisy. I think that in the beginning of the season, since Shan got so much love and everyone was putting her on such a pedestal, that those fans were just in the back of their mind waiting, oh, can't wait till she messes up. I just can't wait till she messes up so we can hound her and say, see, she's not good. She's horrible. And that's what I go back to with when it comes to Black women, even in not even in just the game of society. Are they not allowed to fumble? Are they not allowed to have a change of heart in certain areas of life without people berating them and making them a punching bag? And this is the microcosm of society that we need, that we live daily. So we see it, and this is a great example as to why we needed more people of color on these seasons. Imagine if Shan had been the only Black woman on this season, and the freaking cliff that she would have had to climb between the cast, between the edit, between the fans. So I say all that to say it's like a catch 22. The hate that she's getting. Can you imagine if it was just her alone? Are things getting better, or is it just under a magnifying glass from those bigoted fans now? And are they just griping because they didn't get their way and we did in getting an equitable cast for this season? And I just say to them, just advice for any Black fans or any people of color or any allies that watch Survivor. When it comes to those type of fans, use that block button, or if you want to put them on Front Street. My favorite thing to do on my Instagram, when I have bigots come under my comments, I like to pin their comments just to let them know how stupid they look, and then fans will respond to them. But for people who don't have a fan base like I do, who can take up for you like that, just protect your inner peace, protect your psyche, and just block them. If you think they're a troll, block them. But if you think that some way, somehow, there's somebody here that really just doesn't get it and really just doesn't understand, then hey, send them on over to the Survivor Diversity Campaign. Add us. We have people on our Twitter page who specializes in race relations, specializes in diversity, who can have a conversation with these people. And if they get to the point where they see the conversation going left and this person is an actual troll, we know how to handle that. So
yeah, and I do feel, I have my degree in history.
Yeah.
I love debating people. I love debating people that, even if they will never like take your side, they'll at least sit there and listen. And I do, I'm not talking about, and we're not talking about those types of people.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the types of people that are just like, this is not really my thing, but I'm not going to hate. I'm not going to stop watching Survivor because it's too woke now or whatever.
Yeah.
We're talking about, like Davey said, the actual trolls that are either one, doing it because they think that they're having a good time, or two, they feel so adamantly about this that they'll say silly stuff like, oh, Heather's not getting enough screen time because they have to pay attention to all the Black folks, which is
said.
Evie's one of the main characters of the season so far.
Yeah.
And Evie ain't Black. Xander, one of the main characters of the season so far, and he's a white male.
Yeah.
He's a white male. So they just look for reasons to hop on. Oh, the numbers are going down because of this and all that. And it's like that's not what it is. It's not what I understand that the Midwest loves them some TV shows, and yes, they might stop watching because of stuff like that. But the East Coast still exists, the West Coast still exists, and everything in between or outside still exists. So if the Midwest doesn't want to watch it, that's on them. I'm sorry, I got heated again. So based off where we're at right now on the show, and this is not even we can stray away from the racial aspect of it. How do you see this season being looked at? Not the end of this year or even next. How do you see this season being looked at down the line? Do you think that its legacy is going to be, oh, this was the first season after the campaign, or is this going to be more about the winner and the characters? Do you think that there's somewhere in between that, or do you think that it's opinions?
I think that production wasn't fair in that when they started this new era of Survivor, and we receive this new campaign of diverse players, that should have been enough. That should have been enough for at least the first season going into the new era. We didn't need 50 new advantages every episode. We didn't need 50 new twists every episode. We didn't need all of these crazy types of ways to get idols in new episode. We needed to invest in the story and invest in these people. And I think they did try, because we got backstories from some of these players during the episode. And I really enjoyed that. I do kind of enjoy Jeff breaking the fourth wall. I think that's a
It's
pretty
growing on me.
yeah. It's cheesy, but I think if done correctly, like, we don't have to have it before every tribal, because that's a little bit much. But things like him hiding the idol and hiding advantages under the bench and things like that. But I think that down the line, this season will be seen as the season that was going into the new era. I don't think that they'll put that much emphasis on it being the season that was 50% BIPOC, because me watching it, of course I can tell that it's better, it's more diverse now, but I don't think that it affects the story that much
At all.
Yeah,
Because like I said, they've only put maybe 5 to 8 to maybe 10 minutes overall over 8 or 9 episodes of talking about race.
Right. Yep.
The rest of the time, it's just
Regular
what's
Survivor.
going on in this tribe, what's going on in this tribe. Let's work together, like what Survivor is.
Exactly.
It's not it's not Big Brother where you see all of this happening all the time. Now, for all we know, this could be happening on the island, but we're not seeing it.
Absolutely.
So I think that.
And I think that's the best way for it to be done. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, me personally, I think historically, this will be looked at as just the season that happened after COVID.
Yeah.
But more than BIPOC or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because if everything goes right,
yeah.
if we get from here until the end of the show, proper representation, that no one's going to care that this was the one that started it all, because it won't matter anymore, if that makes sense. And I hope I'm wrong when I say that I think that 43 and 44 might be the end of them actually doing it. I hope I am. I think that whenever they do invite you back for whatever returner season they do, that they decide to stick with that with even returner seasons. I hope it's not just a newbie season type thing where it's like 50%.
Just love to see that,
and then we'll just bring Davie back in. That's about it.
Wow.
We'll just give everybody
no. They would hear it from us. Oh man.
and I don't. If you don't feel comfortable answering this one, it's fine. Do you? If you were casted for a season like that, just a returner season, would you vocalize like, hey, I'm not playing unless this?
Oh no, I definitely wouldn't do that. I mean, because I think that even if they did that, I would still be able to make some change being out there. I think that there's a phrase for it, but I can't think of it right now. But the odds mean the ends, or something like that. But it's like, as long as I'm in
the ends justify the means.
There we go. The ends justify the means. Like, as long as I'm in the conversation, I'm gonna do some good. I'd rather them get it wrong and me be in there to help them get it right than for nobody to help them get it right at all. So I'm always going to want to be a part of the conversation. But there's, like I said, there's always room to grow.
All right, perfect. So before we wrap it up, two more questions, but one. Is the season better than David versus Goliath? All right, cool. That's what I thought. Two, how many people roughly have reached out to you ever since David versus Goliath got put on Netflix? Just saying, praising you, or hating on you?
Oh, dude, man, I get so much praise on the daily. Like, my freaking followers on Instagram seem like they might double this year. And that's why I kind of got to give production props, because, like I said, dude, I said some shit out there, but they watched out for me and did not want me to be that villain. They wanted me to be that hero. I'll give you a prime example. on the Dan vote, and I can say this here, and I don't care who sees it now because I don't care anymore. But I don't know if you knew this or not, but in my confessional, I was like, fuck the police when I voted Dan out. They could have very well put that in the episode. And those right fans are those red fans.
The Midwest fans.
Yes, they would have hated me, and I would have gotten all of this backlash, and I probably would have been getting N-word spouts in my DMs till this day. But Survivor protected me, and that's where I'm like, gosh, man, if you can protect me, some of these other people need some protection.
Yes, need some protection
too, But I mean, I guess it's a TV show.
This is something about your personality.
Something about me, huh?
But Davie, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we could get this done. Make sure to check out David versus Goliath on Netflix, streaming now. Follow the Survivor Diversity Campaign on Twitter. And reach out to if anything that we talked about tonight, and you can be courteous about it. If anything that we touched on tonight you feel you might want to, please reach out to us. Someone will talk to you.
Absolutely.
But yes, in the meantime, everyone, thank you so much, and we will see y'all on the other side.
All right.